Before Cleveland, Stefanski was Minnesota's offensive coordinator where he worked with Dalvin Cook. In 2019, Cook had a monster season with over 1,400 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns, while also catching 53 passes for 519 yards and 5 receiving scores. That's exactly the kind of dual-threat production Bijan Robinson can deliver in Stefanski's system. Robinson already proved in 2025 that he's one of the best receiving backs in football, catching 89 passes for 754 yards and 6 touchdowns. Those numbers made him a first-team All-Pro running back and second-team All-Pro all-purpose player. Now imagine what he does when the offensive coordinator is designing plays specifically to get him the ball in space. Here's where Stefanski's scheme becomes truly devastating for defenses: the play-action passing game. When you establish a dominant run game with a back like Bijan Robinson, who demands 8 defenders in the box, it creates massive opportunities downfield through play-action. Stefanski's offenses have consistently ranked among the best in play-action efficiency because linebackers and safeties bite on the run fake, leaving receivers one-on-one against cornerbacks. Michael Penix Jr., who's recovering from his 3rd ACL surgery and expected back for training camp, will benefit enormously from this system. Penix doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes making off-platform throws or improvising constantly. He just needs to execute play-action reads where Drake London is running a post route against a single high safety who cheated down to stop Bijan. That's an easy completion for an NFL quarterback, and it's exactly how Stefanski got the best out of quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco in Cleveland. ESPN's analysis of the hire specifically pointed this out, saying Stefanski's scheme in Atlanta will likely start with the running game and Bijan Robinson, then marry that with play-action pass concepts that give Penix easier reads. Drake London is already salivating at the opportunities this creates. London had one of his best statistical seasons in 2025, catching 82 passes for over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. But in Stefanski's system, with Penix executing play action and defenses stacking the box to stop Bijan, London could have a career year. Kyle Pitts, who finally re-established himself as a legitimate receiving threat in 2025 with second-team All-Pro honors, will also benefit massively. Stefanski has a proven track record of featuring tight ends. David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. both thrived in Cleveland under his system, and Pitts has the talent to be one of the best weapons in football if used correctly. From a fantasy football perspective, Bijan Robinson's stock just skyrocketed into the stratosphere. Fantasy analysts at Pro Football Network are already predicting Robinson remains an elite RB1 with high weekly volume and rushing efficiency. The only concern is touchdown splits with backup Tyler Algier, but even that's minimal because Stefanski knows who his bell cow is. Robinson should be a top 3 fantasy pick in all formats come draft season, and his floor is ridiculously high because Stefanski's offense has consistently produced strong rushing numbers. But here's what makes this even more explosive. The Falcons' offensive line is built perfectly for Stefanski's scheme. Right guard Chris Lindstrom is a 4-time All-Pro and one of the best guards in football. Right tackle Caleb McGarry is expected back healthy after missing most of 2025 with injury. They need upgrades at left tackle, center, and potentially left guard, but those can be addressed through free agency in the draft. The foundation is there, and Stefanski knows how to coach offensive lines. Bill Callahan, the legendary offensive line coach who worked with Stefanski in Cleveland and just left Tennessee to join Atlanta, will implement the zone blocking schemes that made Cleveland's line so effective. And don't sleep on this. Stefanski's system gives the Falcons an identity they've been missing for years. Under Arthur Smith, the offense was supposed to be run-heavy, but never fully committed. Under Zach Robinson last year, they tried to modernize, but ranked 24th in scoring. Stefanski brings structure, discipline, and a proven offensive philosophy that's succeeded everywhere he's coached. When you have a foundational piece like Bijan Robinson, and you finally have a coach who knows. Now let's talk about the Michael Penix Jr. factor, because his health and development are critical to this offense reaching its ceiling. Penix tore his ACL in November against Carolina, underwent surgery with Dr. Neil L. Atrache, and is expected to need a full 9-month recovery. That means he might not be ready for Week 1, which creates some uncertainty. But if Penix is healthy by training camp, Stefanski's system gives him the best possible chance to succeed. The play-action concepts, the easy reads off run fakes, the ability to work from under center, all of that plays to Penix's strengths as a college quarterback who excelled in similar systems at Washington. And if Penix isn't ready, Kirk Cousins, who Stefanski coached in Minnesota and has familiarity with his system, is expected to be released or restructured to save cap space. The Falcons could bring in a veteran bridge quarterback like Mac Jones or Sam Darnold to start the season while Penix recovers. Either way, Stefanski has experience navigating quarterback uncertainty. He cycled through 13 starters in Cleveland and still found ways to make the offense function. In Atlanta, with Bijan Robinson as the centerpiece, the quarterback doesn't have to be elite for the offense to succeed. The bigger picture here is that Kevin Stefanski inherited a roster loaded with talent and finally has the pieces to run his offense the way it's supposed to be run. Bijan Robinson is better than any running back Stefanski's ever coached. Drake London is better than any #1 receiver he had in Cleveland. Kyle Pitts has more upside than any tight end he's worked with. The offensive line has all-pro pieces, and if Penix develops into even a league-average starter, this offense could be top 10 in scoring and efficiency. That's not hype. That's realistic based on what Stefanski's done with less talented rosters. The NFC South is wide open with Tampa Bay rebuilding, Carolina in full tank mode, and New Orleans trying to figure out their quarterback situation. If Stefanski can get this Falcons offense rolling early, Atlanta has a clear path to winning the division and ending their 8-year playoff drought. And it all
Kevin Stefanski just dropped an explosive bomb that has the NFL world completely shocked. Bijan Robinson is about to become the most dangerous running back in football under his offense, and the blueprint is already terrifying defenses across the league. Less than 48 hours after getting hired, Stefanski revealed his plan to build the entire Falcons offense around Robinson's elite skill set, using the same stretch zone running scheme that made Nick Chubb a monster in Cleveland and Dalvin Cook unstoppable in Minnesota. But here's the part that's sending shockwaves. Stefanski's system isn't just about running the ball. It's about using Bijan to set up devastating play-action passes that will make Michael Penix Jr.'s job easier and turn Drake London and Kyle Pitts into matchup nightmares. ESPN analyst Mina Kimes already called it, saying this offense makes a ton of sense for Bijan, and fantasy football experts are predicting Robinson jumps into the top 3 running backs in all formats. The all-pro running back who just had 366 touches for 2,298 yards and 11 touchdowns is about to get even more dangerous. Smash subscribe because we're breaking down Stefanski's exact scheme for Bijan, why defenses are terrified, and how this could turn Atlanta into the best offense in the NFC. Let's start with what Stefanski said in his first statements after getting hired, because his words revealed everything about his plan for Bijan Robinson. When asked about Atlanta's offensive weapons, Stefanski specifically highlighted Robinson as a top-of-the-line offensive talent who will be the foundation of everything they do. That's not generic coach speak. That's Stefanski telling the NFL that Bijan is about to get fed like never before. And the scheme Stefanski runs is perfectly designed to maximize Robinson's unique skill set. Stefanski's offensive identity is built on stretch zone running plays that create cutback lanes for running backs who have elite vision and burst. If you've watched Bijan Robinson dominate over the past 2 seasons, you know cutback lanes are exactly where he does his best work. Robinson averaged 5.0 yards per carry in 2025, the 3rd best mark among running backs with at least 200 carries. His ability to read blocks, set up defenders, and explode through gaps is elite level, and Stefanski's stretch zone concepts will give him those opportunities on every single play. Look at what Stefanski did with Nick Chubb in Cleveland. During Stefanski's first 3 seasons, from 2020 to 2022, when Chubb was healthy, the Browns finished in the top 6 in rushing yards per game every single year. Chubb averaged over 5 yards per carry in each of those seasons, earned multiple Pro Bowl selections, and was one of the most efficient running backs in football. And Chubb isn't even as talented as Bijan Robinson. Chubb is a power runner who can break tackles but doesn't have Robinson's receiving skills, route running, or versatility in space. Kevin Stefanski didn't just drop a bomb on Bijan Robinson, he dropped a blueprint for turning the Falcons into offensive juggernauts. Stretch zone runs, cutback lanes, play-action dominance, and a first-team All-Pro running back who's about to eat. Defenses better prepare because the Stefanski-Robinson partnership is about to terrorize the NFC for years to come.